Hello, my loop friends. Welcome back to Live Loopers. I'm Alex, and I have two really cool new discoveries, except they're not new at all. They're not new things. They've been around. But I just didn't know about them. But now I do know about them, so I can tell you about them. And I can't wait to tell you all about them. So I'm just going to roll the thing and then say the words. Making music on an iPad is awesome. It's very cost effective. It's very compact and portable, and all the things that I've said before about all the benefits of it. And there are all kinds of great places where you can go to where people know stuff and they'll share information. And there's a newish one. It's like iPad keyboard players or something like that, dropping all kinds of awesome information. And there was a post on there where this guy was like, I'm just going to tell you a bunch of audio units that keyboard players should know about. And I was looking through it and I was like, oh yeah, cool synth, cool, piano thing, stuff that I was mostly all familiar with. And then there was a new one, and there was one like I didn't know. I was like, what is that? And as it so happens, throughout the course of years, every once in a while, some person talks about sound fonts. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is a sound font. I don't know. And every time it's crossed my reading screen there, I'm like, that is something I should look up. Someday I should see what that is. I should figure it out, because it seems to come up every once in a while from really smart people. But they're placed in that context with like all these really cool things that I knew to be very cool things, and then one thing that I don't know what it is. I was like, I gotta go find out what this is. The sound font player that this person mentioned was called Bismarck 16. And it looks like this. So before we even proceed down the path, let's talk about cost. This Bismarck 16 here costs about $8 US. I think there may be less expensive sound font players, but let me tell you that it is a really super great value. I have been chasing around different sounds, like how can I get a little bit of this kind of instrument and a little bit of this kind of instrument, and just paying like $3 here and $4 here and $3 here, and I paid $8 for this sound font player, and boom, there's just piles and piles and piles of sounds in here. And when you get a sound font player, however many sounds come with it, there's even more, because you could just go out on the internet and look for more sound fonts, and you can just start making your own collection. But yeah, having a sound font player, my goodness, all these sounds I've been looking for, here they are. I forgot to look under this chair. Bismarck 16 has its own onboard effects where you can like dial in effects right here on the opening screen, so that's obviously a plus. But here's our first sound, distorted guitar. Next up, we'll just check out their regular old piano. Definitely a serviceable piano sound.
Definitely.
And they have all kinds of cool sound effects, namely scratch mixing, which I have been trying to get in a number of ways. It's just right here. Sure, I can find a way to incorporate that.
Oh, sure, you can.
Another sound effect here is a police siren. Didn't mean to scare you. We're okay. This here is just a regular old square wave. I mean, there's no shortage of those. That's a pretty easy sound to find out there in the wild. Nevertheless, sometimes you can take a square wave and start modifying it, and so it's good to have access to it. And it's in there because like mostly everything is in there.
It's in there.
A little while back I made that King Digital video about finally finding a good violin sound that I can use. Now I found a second one that I can use already. And that's a sampling of some of the sounds that there are here in Bismarck 16. But look at, just scroll through this list of sound fonts. There's just so much stuff, and they sound so good. And the second really cool thing that I have found, I'm calling this one for me, because I do realize that I am out here on this lonely island by myself, and not everybody out there wants to become a touchscreen keyboardist like I do. I don't know why they don't. But all I will say is you can come and join me, because there is plenty of room on this island. And this is just what you know that I have, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I have been looking for how do I get different input modes. How do I, get accurate touching and get which notes I want out. And, I like the piano roll, but I just knew that there was there were other ways we could do it. And I started making the playtime module template and finally have like other different ways to do it, and I still am over the moon in love with all those different ways to touch screen get notes out. But one thing that has just come along and laid down as a huge ginormous bridge across the chasm of stuff that was still missing for me is called Velocity Keyboard from Blue Mango. Oh my goodness, this thing. Are you kidding me? It is so good. This here on your screen is an example of what it looks like, or what it can look like, because you can change it around. It's so configurable. I love my playtime module, believe me I do. But one thing is making little changes. I have to be coding in there all day long. So if I were to want to change it from having 2 rows of keyboards to change it to make 3 rows of keyboards, that'd take me a solid hour at a minimum. Here, it's just all programmatically in there. It says you can put up to 30 some odd stacks of keyboards. I don't even what keyboard even, what sound even has more than 8 octaves? I don't know. To me it sounds like nonsense, but still, here I am with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of keyboards, and it handles it just fine. And 5 is a lot. That is a huge range. That is a range that I had just given up on. I was like, boo-hoo, shed some tears, but I had to say goodbye to that because I'm just never gonna have that again. But it's back. What am I talking about? I'm talking about different runs that you can make. If you have a full-size 88 piano keyboard, you can do fun things that in a little cramped touchscreen space maybe you can't really do. But now Velocity Keyboard, you can kind of do it. That violin sound from our good friend the Bismarck 16 is still loaded in here. So with this many octaves on screen at once, I can do things just run it down, run it back up, do whatever you want. And this is called Velocity Keyboard. I don't know how it does it. Maybe it's magic. I'm not sure. But it Okay, so you have like maybe your favorite MIDI controller and maybe your keyboard with aftertouch and maybe your pad controllers that, you know, you hit the pads harder, it goes louder, you hit them softer, it goes quieter, and you have that level of resolution, and you don't want to become a touchscreen keyboardist because you don't want to give that up. Well, Velocity Keyboard, it's back. I don't know how, but look at this. Soft touches. Harder touches. Don't look now, but I think the doors just flew back open. All kinds of potential for things that we can do now thanks to this Velocity keyboard. It's got other cool things. You can hook a MIDI CC value up to how much finger coverage, like a little bit of finger coverage, and then you lay down your finger and it's a lot of finger coverage, so you can play expressively in that way. And it's got an expression trigger, which is monitoring how far up and down you go in an individual key, so you can set up a MIDI trigger that's supposed to be able to monitor and let you do like whatever effect you want to affect when you're going up and down. That's even, I mean, that's like 3 layers of expressivity. I just hopped off camera for a second to load up our old friend Geoshred, because that has like some of the great slides where you can demonstrate like what slides can do. And here we go with Velocity Keyboard doing some Geoshred slides. Are you seeing the potential to have fun for hours and hours and hours and hours with that? Well, both of those are super cool. They get my highest possible recommendation. Bismarck 16, so many cool sounds. It's like $8 and you just get piles and piles and piles, and out on the internet there's even more piles. And then Velocity Keyboard costs like $10. I was really skeptical. I was like, oh man, I am not feeling like I am going to feel like I can get $10 worth out of this thing. I mean, I was watching a video and it was saying it can do all of these things, and I was like, oh, I hope so. And then just playing around with it a little bit, it was exactly the last missing piece. Thank you for watching my video, my little friend. If you liked it, if you learned something, if you think any of this is going to be helpful to you, please do leave a like. And some folks have been showing up to our new Discord server, the Amprosoft Alex Discord server, where we talk about all kinds of looping things, and that's a great place to just get information right away. I mean, there's other Discord servers like Looping Pro, just saying. Point being, plenty of places to get help and share information out on the web, and the more we share, the more we all grow together and learn together and expedite our journeys. And loop on, my loop friends, loop on.